Empires aren't built on swords alone. They're built on secrets. And when a secret falls into the wrong hands, empires burn. At its peak, the Roman Republic was a logistical nightmare. It spanned millions of square kilometers. For a general like Julius Caesar, commanding legions across Gaul, Britain, and the Mediterranean meant sending thousands of orders across hostile territories. A single intercepted message revealing a troop movement or a supply shortage could doom an entire campaign. Is 52 BC, the Siege of Alesia. Caesar had trapped Vercingetorix inside Alesia, but then a second Gallic army arrived. Suddenly, the hunters became the hunted. Caesar desperately needs to coordinate attacks with his distant cavalry commanders, but the forests are crawling with enemy scouts. During campaigns like these, Caesar relied on methods of secret correspondence that later became known as the Caesar Cipher. Recorded by the historian Suetonius as Caesar's personal method for sensitive letters, he forged one of the earliest instruments of military cryptography. The Caesar Cipher, a substitution cipher, brutal in its simplicity. Take every letter of your message and shift it 3 positions down the alphabet. A becomes D. B becomes E. To read it, the receiver simply shifts the letters 3 positions back. Suetonius records this exact method. Caesar, quite literally, slid the alphabet into the shadows. Look at the phrase, attack at dawn. Shifted by 3, attack becomes DWWDFN. At becomes DW. Dawn becomes GDZQ. 3 simple words, vanished into gibberish. The secret ingredient, the number 3, that was the key. Both the sender and the receiver knew it. The rest of the world remained in the dark. For its time, it worked well enough. Enemy scouts captured Roman couriers daily. They intercepted vital war plans, but as they unrolled the blood-stained parchments, they found only madness. Modern minds often ask, why didn't the enemy just guess? There are only 25 possible shifts in the Latin alphabet. But you must understand the psychology of the ancient world. For most enemy fighters, warriors who were not trained readers, an arrangement of unknown letters didn't look like a puzzle. It looked less like information and more like meaningless symbols. They didn't try to decode it, they burned it. This wasn't just theory, it saved legions. 2 years before Alesia, during the Great Winter Uprising of 54 BC, one of Caesar's commanders, Quintus Cicero, was besieged deep in enemy territory. In the dead of night, a loyal allied horseman rode to the edge of the camp and hurled a spear over the barricades. Tied to it was a letter from Caesar. Now here is the brilliant twist. The message wasn't encrypted by shifting letters. It was written entirely in Greek. To a Roman officer, Greek was the language of education. To the Gallic rebels, it was an alien script. The message was not a mathematical puzzle. It was a linguistic barrier. Cicero decoded the meaning, not a cipher. The message read, "Hold the walls. Relief is coming." That single disguised secret, hidden in plain sight, restored the morale of the camp. They held the line. For over 8 centuries, substitution ciphers dominated Western and Middle Eastern statecraft. They seemed mathematically unbreakable. Until the golden age of Baghdad. Here, a brilliant Arab polymath named Al-Kindi wasn't just translating ancient texts, he was dissecting their very structure. And he noticed a fatal flaw, not in the ciphers, but in the nature of language itself. Al-Kindi realized something profound. No armies, no spies, no stolen keys. He just needed to count. In Arabic, certain letters dominate all others, and the same principle Al-Kindi discovered held true for every language, including Latin. Find the most frequent letter in any encrypted text, and you found your skeleton key. With that single devastating insight, frequency analysis, the illusion of absolute security was shattered. Every substitution cipher ever written, including the legendary Caesar Cipher, could now be dissected not by magic, but by mathematics. An era of cryptographic innocence was over. What happens when you don't know your unbreakable code is already broken? Fast forward to 1586. England, Mary, Queen of Scots, is imprisoned by her rival, Queen Elizabeth. From her cold cell, Mary orchestrates a massive assassination plot. She smuggles her secret letters inside beer barrels. She uses a complex nomenclator, a hybrid cipher system far more sophisticated than Caesar's. She sleeps soundly, believing her secrets are protected. She was wrong. Sophistication means nothing against a trained eye. Elizabeth's master spy, Master Walsingham, assigned his brilliant cryptanalyst Thomas Phillips to the task. He knows Al-Kindi's secret. He used frequency analysis, and piece by piece, he reconstructed the conspiracy. Mary's trust in a dead Roman system cost her everything. She was beheaded for treason. You might think this ancient trick belongs only in history books. In 2006, Italian police finally captured Bernardo Provenzano, the boss of bosses of the Sicilian Mafia. He had evaded Italian law enforcement and international authorities for 43 years. How did the most wanted man in Europe communicate? He used tiny pieces of paper, written using a simple substitution system inspired by the same principles that had powered Caesar's cipher. The ghost of Rome was still commanding the underworld. Today the stakes are higher. Your bank uses 256-bit AES encryption. Your private messages are locked by complex algorithms. Caesar moved letters. Modern cryptography moves mathematics itself. We wield mathematical structures so complex they would take longer than the age of the universe to crack by brute force. But the invisible war between the code maker and the code breaker started in a Roman tent. Julius Caesar's legions have turned to dust. The sword built Rome. The code protected it. And 20 centuries later, we are still fighting the same invisible war.